Welcome back to the channels, people. Bravos until death. Finally, international break have been over. Before we go on any further though, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us guys on TikTok, Bravos until death. Yeah, let's get into it. 7 games have been played. Let's put an estimate on which team we feel like is the best team so far out of the big 6. For me, it has to be Arsenal. To the games that we played, the teams that I've seen we played, we had the hardest fixture for the past 7 games. I don't see another big team that have the fixtures that's how we have, I would say. Arsenal for me has been the best team so far. That's why we are top of the league. And I wouldn't even say Liverpool would be in the second best team. For me, the second best team I've seen so far, I would say, is Tottenham Hotspur. Then I'll go for Liverpool. Reason being why I put Liverpool third is because a lot of the games that I've seen this season, Liverpool haven't been the best team on the pitch. And a lot of the games they have been scoring a lot of last minute goals. And we all know that wasn't going to go out through the whole season. We know that was going to catch up on them at a certain point in the season. So for me, I'll put them third. And the fourth big 6 team, I'll put Chelsea. Chelsea, the reason why I put Chelsea fourth is because Chelsea have been up and down. We've seen them lose a lot of games that I don't feel like they should be losing. And we see them win games that I expect them to lose, and they didn't. So for me, I'll put Chelsea fourth. And fifth, surprisingly, Manchester United. They're not that bad, you know. They haven't been performing tremendous like what the fans think, but I don't feel like they'd be performing that bad too, in a sense. So I'll put Manchester United 5th. Then I'll go for Man City 6th. Reason being why I put Man City 6th is this. A lot of people expected Man City to be performing on a high standard with the players that they buy and the players that they had in their team. And for me, Manchester City this season, it's been a one-man show. Erling Haaland just taking out them out of the gutter. Majority of the games that I've been watching with Man City, they haven't been doing nothing. And it's just Erling Haaland keep on scoring and helping out these guys. So for me, I'll put them at 6 for me. That's why I don't put them up a 4th, 3rd, or 2nd. For me, it's just a one-man team. And as soon as something happened to that guy, I'm not saying I want injury to happen to the guy, but as soon as something happens to him, we're going to see a big difference. So that's why I'll put Man City at 6. Yeah, let's talk about the players that I feel like is the best players for the past 7 games. So midfield wise, I'm going to go for Ryan Gravenberch. From the starting of the season up until the 7th game, I don't feel like there is a better midfielder than Ryan Gravenberch. Yes, we seen a fall off in the last game. He didn't play that well in the game. But for me, Ryan Gravenberch has been the best midfielder in the league for me. And I had to put honorable mention to Martin Zubimendi. He's been up there with Ryan Gravenberch as the better midfielder so far for me in the league. But the reason being why I put Ryan Gravenberch as number 1 is because I've seen consistent performance at a high standard for Ryan Gravenberch. Yes, I've seen Martin Zubimendi had good performance in games, but I kind of put more praise on Ryan Gravenberch because the things that I expected from Martin Zubimendi, I'm not saying I don't get him, but I don't get him to a level where I expected to be given out in games. So for me, I'll put Ryan Gravenberch above him. And you have to put an honorable mention to Moses Caicedo too. But for me, he has been playing okay, probably like 4 games straight. But I wouldn't put him up there with those two. Those two have a better season so far than him. But it's good to mention him too because he's been having good games. And forward-wise, there's only one. There's only one forward we could look at and talk about so far in the league. It has to be Erling Haaland. This guy is scoring goals right and center. Every game he's scoring 2-3 goals. He's like a robot. He's just like a robot for me. I want to mention Ekitike. Yes, we've seen him do some stupidness in the Carabao Cup game where he took off his shirt and got a red card. But for a new signing, the way he's performing, and you got to remember, This guy have Alexander Isak sitting on the bench. He's been the better striker than the two. He has been. So you have to mention him. And I'm gonna put a mention in for Gyökeres too. Because Gyökeres, he scored 3 goals already. He's on the same amount of goals as Ekitike. He's on the same amount of goals as a lot of these strikers. And I've seen a lot of these pundits, a lot of people coming out talking about him. I'm like, you guys are talking about a striker that has 3 goals, but yet still, you don't want to talk about the striker who costs way more money and doesn't have a goal in the league. Or a player who costs way more money and doesn't have a goal or assist in the league. But yes, you are ready to speak about the Arsenal striker. It's because he plays for Arsenal. Oh well. Let's move on to the defenders. Alright. This is going to be a hot take. But for me, so far this season, I don't feel like Virgil van Dijk have been up there with the best defenders in the league for me. No. The best defender for me in the league has to be Gabriel so far. The 7 games that I've seen, Gabriel Magalhaes has been the best midfielder so far in the league. And Mark Guéhi. Mark Guéhi has been tremendous. Saliba, you have to mention Saliba too, but I think he missed like 1 or 2 games. And I want to mention what's this guy name who plays for, I think it's Tohi or something like that. He plays for Newcastle. The Newcastle defender, the new one that they bought. He looks good. I would mention him. And Spurs. For me, the 3 best defenders in the league for me for the past 7 games has been Gabriel Magalhaes, Van der Ven for Spurs. I don't see a lot of people mentioning him, but Van der Ven, he has been up there with these guys. Van der Ven and Mark Guéhi. Those are the 3 guys for me who has been the best defenders so far in the league for me. So I'll always put mention for those 3 guys. And to me, those guys is gonna be up there until the end of the season. I don't feel like Virgil van Dijk is gonna be there. I feel like Virgil van Dijk is falling off the season. I feel like this is the season that we're gonna see a lot of these big name players who Liverpool got fall down. Mo Salah for one, Virgil van Dijk is another one, and Konate. I've seen people blame him, Konate. Yes, he's having a poor season, but where's your captain? Your captain's supposed to be stepping up and be like, yo, I'm seeing you having a lot of problems with these defenders today. Let me switch the position with you. I'm gonna switch over. Let me take care of this. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that side of the game. And for me, that's a big fault in his game. You have to step up as a captain. So for me, those 3 are the best defenders so far in the league. Yeah, let's move on to the manager. Which manager I feel like is going to lose his job next? Ange Postecoglou. I don't know why Nottingham Forest sacked the manager that they had before and went for a downgrade. Because for me, the manager that they had before is way better than Ange Postecoglou. Ange Postecoglou is the manager I feel like is going to go next. Manager I feel like was having a good season. At the start of the season, I've seen a lot of hate towards Mikel Arteta, and I don't get it why. Again, for me, it seems to me like it's the Arsenal thing. The Arsenal thing. Because I understand if you criticizing him, yes, but the way these guys are criticizing him is like the season has just started. It's not like this guy has lost 3 games. The guy only lost 1 game, and that's that Liverpool game. So when I've seen the harsh pundit decision on him and the harsh talks about him, I'm like, come on now. It's just 7 games I played. For me, the best manager I've seen so far in the past 7 games, you have to mention him up there. You have to mention the Bournemouth manager. The Bournemouth manager has been good. And you have to mention the Crystal Palace manager, Glasner. Glasner has been tremendous. Those guys, you have to mention those guys. And for me, those guys have been the best manager in the league for the past 7 games. And I feel like by harsh take again, for me, I feel like by the end of January, Chelsea is going to be looking for a new manager. I don't feel like this manager is going to be able to be in a job past January, The way I've seen the fans coming out talking about Chelsea already, I'm like, The season just started, and the way y'all are talking about this manager already, and the way he's acting, I'm like, you can see that he's under a big pressure with this job. But that's Chelsea for you though. So I kind of understand it to a certain extent. And Chelsea always sack manager. But for me, that's the manager, like Big Six manager, I feel like is going to lose his job next. The Chelsea job. And with Arne Slot, the Liverpool manager, I don't feel like he's been, I'm not going to say he's not been doing a good job, but I don't feel like he's been doing a great job either. Because the players that I have, I expected more from him. Remember, this guy bought Alexander Isak. This guy bought Florian Wirtz. And then he had world-class players in his squad. That's Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, all these guys. And he bought Kirkes. And none of these guys that he bought, we haven't seen really much a big improvement. Only one we've seen something coming from is Ekitike. So for me, he hasn't been done very well in the league. The Manchester United manager though, Ruben Amorim, he's the worst manager so far out of the top 6 manager for me. He's the worst one. He's stuck up in his ways. Everything has to go his ways. The formation, the players, even the players that he bought. He bought players who scored. He bought 3 players. 2 of them have scored 20 plus goals in the league. That's Cunha and that's Boyman Mbeumo. And none of these guys are really performing on a high standard in the league. I remember this guy bought a good striker, you could say, in Europe. That's Benjamin Sesko, and he hasn't been really performing up until the past 2 games. Yeah, you can see a big difference, yes. But for me, he hasn't been doing very good in his job so far. So for me, I wouldn't even mention him as one of the better managers in the league. Because certain stuff that I've seen him do in the game, I'm like, come on now. Spurs manager, he's one of the managers I wanted to mention. He's been doing good stuff. The players that he bought in, all the guys for me that he bought in, they have been playing on a good standard. Yes, we haven't seen Carlo Moani yet, but the guys that I've seen him bought, I'm like, yeah. Mohamed Kudus looks good. He's playing good. The Spurs team that he has them balling out. We can see identity out, the style identity out he plays. So yeah, I'm gonna mention these guys. So for me, he's good. He's always been a good manager for me, you know. He's a solid manager. Which else managers there that I haven't mentioned? Newcastle manager, it's okay. He hasn't been bad or good. He's just on an average base level for me. But he's a manager who I look at highly. I feel like he's a manager I could see being the next England manager. He's been good. Yeah, let's move on to the predictions. First big game of the week. I'll say Chelsea. Nottingham Forest. I could see a Chelsea win that game, so I'm going to go for a Chelsea win 2-1. I'm going to give Nottingham Forest a go because the manager is just in the hot seat. There's a lot of eyes on him, so I'm going to give them a go. A game's not really a Big Six game, but a game that I feel like is going to be a good game is Brighton v Newcastle. I'm going to go for a draw there. Go for a 2-2 draw. Next Big Six game has to be Man City versus Everton. I'm going to go for a Man City win. I'm expecting at least a goal or 2 from Erling Haaland again. And then the next Big Six game on Saturday should be Arsenal v Fulham. Fulham is at home. This is a bogey team for us for the past 2 seasons, I would say. Yeah. But I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Arsenal. And then on a Sunday, let's move on to Spurs v Aston Villa. This should be a good game. I'm going to go for a draw game here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I feel like Spurs is coming off a good performance. And Villa is Villa is on the ropes, but they're on the ropes, and I feel like they need to be winning games. So I'm gonna go for a draw. They are 1-1 draw. And the big game of the week, it has to be Manchester United versus Liverpool. Guys, I don't feel like Manchester United is losing this game, you know. I'm not saying they're gonna win, but I don't feel like they're losing this game. I feel like this game is gonna be a draw game. I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw. Come on, Bruno Fernandes. I feel like they're gonna come away with a good performance. For the last 2 games that Manchester United play against a Big Six team, we've seen a big difference. When they played Arsenal, they outplayed us. We've seen a big difference. When they played Chelsea, they outplayed Chelsea. You've seen a big difference. And I feel like this is the same thing that's gonna happen with this game. I feel like a lot of people are gonna look over Manchester United and be like, "Oh, Liverpool is gonna whitewash them." I don't feel like that game is gonna go that way, you know. I feel like Manchester United is gonna turn up for these games. The small games that Manchester United don't turn up for. Small games like Fulham and these guys type of games. Brentford. Those are the type of games that I feel like Manchester United don't turn up for. But games like Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, these games are the games that I feel like these guys are going to step up and show out, because they know the cameras are going to be on them and the spotlight, everybody's going to be on these guys. So I feel like they're going to step up for these games. So I'm going to go for a draw here. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. 2-2. Yeah, and if you reach this far in the video, guys, please like, subscribe, give us a share. Oh.